I'm delighted that I'm here today with Phil Knight, the founder and chairman of Nike, and of course for whom our new academic home will be named. It's going to be a fantastic new campus with 8 buildings and 3 adjoining quadrangles. Phil was a 1962 graduate of our MBA program. He's here at the business school again. Welcome back, Phil Knight.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Now, a lot has happened since 1962, Phil. You
sure has.
Built and led Nike. It's an amazing worldwide global company, $19 billion in sales, the leader in sports and fitness. As you look back on that and your entrepreneurship, your innovation, your global leadership and management, what role did the Stanford MBA program play, if at all, in all of this?
No. I mean, I think it's almost certainly true that if there was no Stanford Graduate School of Business, there'd be no Nike. That it was in the entrepreneurship class that Frank Schellenberger taught that I wrote the paper, which really was the equivalent of today's business plan, that really became the blueprint for Nike. And it was out of that I really had the courage and the enthusiasm to start this company that ultimately became Nike.
You mentioned Frank Schellenberger was the faculty member. I remember Frank very well. How was he in leading that class? What's your recollection of Frank as a faculty member?
Well, in a single word, he was inspirational. That he was really motivating, and he really got my own enthusiasm going. And one of the things I liked about him that he would frequently, give the class motto, which is the only time you must not fail is the last time you try. And it was to have the courage to try, and that if you failed, it wasn't necessarily something that was a black mark on you forever. You could go out and try again. And all of those things came together. His inspiration, obviously his own experiences with starting small companies, and the enthusiasm of the class in general, they all contributed mightily to my really having the confidence and enthusiasm to start this whole thing.
Now, when you left Stanford, you didn't just immediately start a company full-time. You took a while to get yourself there, as I recall.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, that I had, during the course of the class, I'd written several Japanese shoe manufacturers about the possibility of importing shoes. I didn't get a single reply, but I did, on graduation, did go over there and made a contact with shoe manufacturer, and Ithaca Company Limited, and but it wasn't a direct leap to success. That it took 18 months to get samples and another 6 months to get an order in. So it was slow getting started. And in the meantime, I had to go to work. And I can remember I had just gotten married, and I said to my wife, I was in my second year of teaching at Portland State, and I said, if we crack $300,000 in sales this year, I'm going to go full time. And we hit 290, and I said, close enough.
And what year was that?
That would have been 1969.
Right, so 7 years after you left here. I think sometimes students feel, gee, I can write a business plan to start a company.
Well, it happens a lot faster these days, I think. But I know that the first year of sales were 1964, and we sold $8,000, and we made a $240 profit. So we managed expenses pretty well.
Pretty fantastic. No cash burn right away.
No, that's right.
Now, I remember very well in 1992 when the school honored you with the Arbuckle Award, which is the highest honor we can bestow upon an alum or a friend of the school. At the time, I was an alum, and I was in the audience when you talked. And one thing that came back to me about that talk, you made a very interesting observation that by then even sometimes people said to you, well, why do you work? You don't need to work. You were doing very well with Nike. And you made the observation, gee, nobody asked John Updike, why does he write? And nobody asked James DePriest, why do you conduct? And do you see artistic dimensions or analogies to being a business leader?
Totally. And I think that's one of the areas that I would say that society misunderstands. That I think management is really an art. I mean, obviously there's certain scientific principles and there's certain arithmetic formulas you can bring to it, but at the end of the day, managing people is an art. And I think it's as demanding and as artistic as writing and painting and the other arts, if you will. And so I think that there really is kind of a misunderstanding on how hard the art of management is, and the fact that it really is an art. And I think I look on my own people that I've looked up to, like Warren Buffett or Akio Morita, the founder of Sony. They obviously instated their companies long past any financial need for the contribution they were making to their company and to the world in general.
As you think about this campus, which is such a wonderful transformative event for the Stanford Business School, it really marks us in a new dimension of our leadership in management education, our role at Stanford University. What motivated you to want to help us with this campus?
Well, I think, first of all, the new campus is going to be sensational. I mean, I just really kind of appreciated the scope of the whole thing today as I watch them tear down the old buildings and start to begin to dig holes. And I think it's really a tribute to you as dean and the deans that have preceded you. I can't think that Stanford has never had anything but a great dean in their business school. And this is really just a culmination of really the greatness. And I think that, I was happy to be able to be involved. Obviously, Stanford meant a lot to me, and it's really my hope that out there are a student or lots of students that come to Stanford and have it as transformative for them as it was for me.
You know, one of the things we always ask our students when they apply here, we want to know more about them, about what kind of people they are, their character, what matters to them. As you think about your business life, your personal life, how for our students would you define a life well lived?
Well, I think almost the most important thing is do something you enjoy. That's what's fulfilling. That was one of Frank Schallenberger's biggest, lessons. That if you're gonna start a small business or involve a small business, there are going to be many, many dark hours, and if you don't really enjoy what you're doing, it says it has no chance. And I think, as again, what somebody else said, that a great football coach, you can't tell the difference between his hobby and his business.
Well, Phil Knight, we welcome you back. We're very excited about today and the groundbreaking of the Knight Management Center, the home of the Stanford Business School.
It's an enormous pleasure for me to be here today, and really quite emotional that the school obviously has meant so much in my life, and to be able to give back a little bit makes me feel really great.
Well, it makes thousands of others feel really great too, and we thank you.